Welcome back. It's 11 before 4. We are in the first hour of today here on eNCA Channel 403 on DSTV. If you are just joining us, Minerals and Energy Minister Gwede Mantashe has slammed environmentalists. In fact, he says they've been given a veto over development, referring to several court challenges that have been logged to block gas exploration. What does this mean? Well, the minister has announced that government plans to procure 3,000 megawatts of gas power and 2,500 megawatts of nuclear energy. Mantashe says his department is ready to legally deal with whatever resistance they get. And we are getting reaction now from Francesca de Gasparis, Southern African Faith Communities Environmental Institute Executive Director. Francesca, let's start right there. Your reaction to the minister's utterances is what?
Well, I think the minister is coming with a certain viewpoint which makes a mockery of the energy crisis that South Africans are facing. I believe he's turned deaf to the realities that most people and businesses are facing every day with load shedding and the energy crisis. The energy planning that keeps being promoted and suggested does nothing to address the current crisis we have with load shedding. And this is the thing that we need to keep our eye on the ball and not get distracted by being told that we're anti-development. We're anything but. We actually are here trying to represent the interests of South Africans who want an end to load shedding and who want the energy crisis to end. And the only way that can happen is through good energy decision-making, which we haven't seen yet.
Francesca, for those who aren't environmentalists, I mean, you are on the ground and you see these things as they unfold in real time. What are we missing?
Well, you know, there's been a lot written about this in the news, and a lot of others have pointed out the links between the ANC and the Shell oil company, the links between Total and the ANC. And when you look at that and then you see the kinds of gas and oil concessions that were being given, that's hardly us being biased. That's actually the government being biased in its decision making. It's actually exactly the opposite. And, you know, politicians can be very clever and tie us up with their words. But we know that the current crisis we face is due to bad energy decision making. And we haven't seen government taking seriously the plight of everyday crisis that we're facing. We haven't seen them actually saying, right now, I'm going to alleviate this problem and this is how I'm going to do it. So these announcements and the rhetoric that's coming out is really just a continuation of business as usual. And the crisis, the mess that got us into this crisis is going to continue if the minister does not take seriously the reality on the ground.
And obviously, Francesca, with the imminent job losses as a result of load shedding, if this forges ahead, and I imagine it will, there will be even more jobs cut, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's a hidden crisis that's happening. People, you know, and you don't see it, but with the inflation rates that are going up, everyone is struggling. People are losing their jobs. People who aren't in the formal workplace just aren't getting enough money in to feed their families. We are in a serious crisis. It's winter now. We want to see the government making good energy decisions. And we don't want to get into a battle of words with the minister. That's really counterproductive. But if you follow the money, you will see the links between government, there's an election next year, and these big oil and gas companies, and Russia. So stop holding us over a barrel and making energy decisions that are useful for your political party, but not useful for us who are struggling every day to have warmth for our homes, to feed our families, to have jobs.
I was reading an article in the Daily Maverick and they're saying the president is ruling by proxy. That's another conversation for another day. Let's talk about the next steps for you and your institution, Francesca. What next?
Well, we don't believe that gas or nuclear have any place in our current energy system or our future one. When we talk about a just energy transition that's going to actually create healthy and resilient communities in South Africa, we're talking about energy systems that rely on energy that is good for the environment and good for the people. You know, being an environmentalist is not a slur. It's a wonderful thing that we're proud to be, because we're actually interested in the health and well-being of individuals everyone who makes up the ecosystem. That's humans as well as everyone else. So for us, we know the energy planning and system that we need to have in place that's going to be good for this generation and future generations. And that's what we want to see.
And for South Africans who want to join your movement, how can they do that?
Well, SAFC, the organization that I work for, is on the screen at the moment. SAFC.org is our website, and there's many others who are doing absolutely excellent work. EarthLife Africa, Johannesburg, the Center for Environmental Rights, the Green Connection, and so on. So there's many organizations that you can support. We work together. We're a collective. We all want the same thing, which is reliable, affordable, and accessible energy for South Africans. And we want to stop this crisis so that we can all get on with our daily lives, earning income for our families and having a prosperous future.